Hi, welcome to my show. Today I have my friend Diane Dovico here. Hi, Diane.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, and I am
Good.
so happy to have you here again.
Thank
Last
you.
time you were here, we were talking about the path of consciousness and a program that you had going on, and that wasn't that long ago. Now you have another program around the corner, which
That's
is
right.
on February 9th at UFCW Hall. Is that?
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? It's the World of Wellness program.
Well, it's on the World of Wellness Symposium. It's a program. This is its second year, and it will be held annually. It's typically a 4 to 5 hour program. We invite practitioners that practice holistic modalities and therapies and solutions for so people can obtain or acquire optimal health, or when people are challenged by a health condition, they have some complementary solutions and therapies and remedies that they can be in charge of and do at home and for themselves and be a part of their own health care and not leave all of it to a doctor, because we know that in healthcare and to be well, it requires a partnership between the patient and the physician. And we want our people that are learning about their conditions to study them and to research them so they can go into the physician's office and ask appropriate questions so they can learn maybe what one of these remedies would be more beneficial. So,
Well, this is, how much I believe in this kind of work, obviously, because we work together with the Path of Consciousness, a spiritual and writing retreat where I was trying to show how narrative medicine applies to people's health. And thank you for inviting me for the World of Wellness. I'm going to be discussing narrative therapy. So I'm one of the 7 speakers you guys are going to be having.
yeah.
So I really feel that this is important, especially coming at the beginning of the year. It's kind of a nice way for people to start shifting in that direction. Is that part of the plan, kind of? Having people, it's always a nice way to start the year moving in that direction with regards to health and wellness.
Well, absolutely. People make health decisions in January to, quit smoking, lose weight.
They put their intent, right?
Yeah, they put their intent out there, and unfortunately, it does fall through. Come to find out, actually, just kind of a side note, it's not really that because they don't want to do it. What they haven't done and prepared themselves is what to do when they're faced with a trigger. So they're like, I want to lose weight, I want to quit smoking, and that's a good idea. But they don't think about, when I am faced with a trigger, what's my response to that? So maybe they can respond using some of these modalities when they're faced with that. I too had quit smoking after a considerable amount of time, and I did cold turkey. But I also used every strategy that was spoken to me by a physician. I went to a program, and I won I won. But
Congratulations.
Yeah, but it took 3 months, and I suffered a lot, but I just did not want to smoke anymore. So I know with each day I was never going to go back and smoke a cigarette and lose all that I put into it to quit. So just briefly, one of the things I did is I wrote a check to an old employer of mine that I didn't like very much, and it was for $100. And that was back in the 80s. It's a lot of money. And I put on my refrigerator, and my agreement with, if I put a cigarette to my mouth, even if it wasn't lit, that check was going in the mail. And so there was no way that was happening. So,
well, yes, and this is the wonderful thing, that when we meet practitioners that work in this area particularly, you really get a lot of tools and ideas and things from them that you can use when you're in that situation where you might get off track of what you're trying to accomplish. So I would love to hear about the speakers that are coming. I'm going to play a video, though, a very short video, just to kind of talk a little bit about the program, and then I would love to hear about the speakers.
Great.
Welcome
Welcome to the World of Wellness. I am Diane Dovico, and our program today is to explore a variety of wellness practices and approaches that are done throughout the world.
I love that quote at the end.
Thank you very much. Right.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Well, it looks really exciting and beneficial, but like I said, I know that there was the logos of some of the speakers, their businesses, and that are going to be there. So tell us a little bit about some of them, or all of them actually.
Well, over half, I have myself have gone to them to maybe experience what they.
So I gotta
do.
say something about
What?
that, because I know that you, when it comes to choosing speakers, you really vet the people that you invite. So I know that's one thing, and it's because of your experience and your history. But that's something I've observed firsthand, and it's so I know, like, whoever's coming, it's somebody that you've vetted. You've gone to their speaking engagements, and you've seen how effective they are.
Or someone from my committee.
Or something, yeah. Well, but
Not
you
every
still,
single one.
right?
But that's how I
But
how
you
I
know
met
that-
you.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I saw. Well, I saw narrative therapy at a conference I was at, and then when I was looking through my brochure from the library, I saw you were speaking at that very topic. So
Yes.
I went
That was at the Royal Oak Library. That's
yeah.
where we met.
Right.
Yes.
And it was a 3-part series, and it was fantastic. And I almost didn't go because I had another engagement. And then I thought, no, something kept pushing me. I said, no, go here, go there. So then I met you.
And I gotta say, so this was last March and last year. So and since then we went out to dinner. I think
We did.
It was a dinner.
Dinner, 5-hour
And-
dinner turned into 5 hours.
And that was it.
Yeah.
and we've since really connected, and you have been really an important part of my spiritual and writing retreat because of your experience and your mentoring and your volunteer work. So you've been, just incredibly helpful. So anyways, I'm really glad that whatever drew you into the workshop, that was great.
It was meant to be. So beside yourself, we're having Brian Grenadier from Red Lotus Yoga, and he's going to be presenting first, and he's doing stretching. And stretching is really important for all of us to do every morning. If we could just do 3 minutes of stretching. I know mornings are tough, but what happens with our bodies with stretching is not only it helps with our muscles, but it helps with our flexibility at work. So when we're bending over and twisting around, we're able to do so with ease, and we're not as likely to twist things out of place because we strengthen ourselves. And I am a proponent is if you want to be strong emotionally, you need to be strong physically.
I agree. Yes.
They both balance. I know when I've gone through emotional traumas myself and I see that I'm out of shape physically, I know I have to start working out. I need to start walking. I need to get physical. I don't have to go to a gym.
Yes.
But I need to be very physical, because then when I start building myself up internally, all of me feels stronger so I can meet my challenges. And that's why stretching is so important. And that's just mind, body, spirit, and that's what this is
Yes.
about.
And as you know, I take care of my mom. She lives with me. And for a while when she moved in, there was so much going on. My kids, were a lot younger, even though they're young now, but they were a lot younger and they needed more of my attention and dealing with her and all that. So I stopped, I used to take walks. And so for a while, I wasn't able to fit the walks in before the kids got home from school. And I noticed emotionally that was taking a toll on me. And so I made a commitment that no matter what happens, an hour before the kids come home, that I stop everything and I give myself that hour to go for a walk. And I would always leave and I would come back so like a different person, because
It's
that
true.
1 hour between nature, that my body moving, all this would have such an incredible effect that by the time I came back, I could be a better just person in general, but a better mother and a better caregiver as well. And one more thing I want to say regarding stretching. So another thing that happened to me is there was oftentimes, because with me lifting her and situating her, so I would pull certain muscles, back muscles. And I know that her therapist would often tell me the importance of doing back exercises. And often, I did go once to my niece, once or twice, where she's a chiropractor and she helped out. But what would usually just me going to a yoga class would just remove the pain.
Yeah.
Then I realized that that's a safety zone. So rather than just kind of go when it's painful, I would just kind of make it more of a regular practice so it doesn't even become, a problem to begin
Right.
with.
Right.
So yes, and sometimes people underestimate the power of stretching when there's so many benefits to it.
That's right.
And who else?
Oh, so we have Carrie Racy from Blended Therapies for Balanced Health, and she's a Reiki master.
Oh.
And so that is about energy healing.
Mhm.
And Reiki can entail physical touch or not at all.
Yes.
Not everyone's comfortable with that. But it's to help align and balance your energy through chakras. And she's been one of my therapists for a long time, and she's fantastic. And many people had recommended her to me, and now I recommended her, and people continue to go to her and continue recommending her she's a therapist and she does Reiki, and she's been working for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it's an ancient practice, and she modernizes it. But she's very intuitive. I mean, she's really sharp. As well as Christine Shabrinko. She's a practical practitioner. She does emotional freedom technique. And not everybody understands that, and I didn't either. She worked in my building, and so she works with people who are having like emotional traumas and challenges. And so this emotional freedom is almost like acupuncture without the needles. So it's about it entails tapping, but she goes through this process. She too is very intuitive, and so she said to me, instead of going to a therapist maybe over and over and weeks and weeks, she said, I can help you within up to three times is usually the most I see somebody. And I thought to myself, how can that be? And that was exactly what happened. And so I of course, had referred other people to her, and they just love her. And so she really does, and she's very intuitive herself, and she has this wonderful energy about her, but very compassionate. And she teaches you how to do things for yourself. All these people teach you how you can go home and not only do it for yourself, but for your loved ones.
Well, I think this is very important because people who will come to a symposium like this, what the whole point is that you are learning skills and tools to take home. It's really not to become dependent on any particular, it's not like a guru type of thing. Or this is really about independent thinking, independent health, and that way when you take something home, by you utilizing it, especially now. I mean, anybody can learn from you, or you can become an example in any kind of way. But especially if you're a parent and there's kids around or whoever around you, when they start, that's something that you can like pass on. And then so many more people can pick that up. But going 3 times and really gaining that kind of, I call it wisdom, honestly, because something like this is just more than knowledge. Because when you incorporate intuitiveness with it, so it's more than knowledge, because knowledge is like something we kind of understand but we don't experience. So I like the fact that this is, the practitioners are people that are just kind of like helping empower you somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what integrative medicine's about.
Yes.
Complementary is empowering you with tools
Yes.
and make you a partner. They don't just see you for 10 minutes and out the door.
Yes.
They help you determine what it is, but you have to be actively involved.
Yes.
We have Erin Shaley. She is one of the business owners of Art Soul Therapy. She's a art therapist, and she's fantastic. She actually worked for me for about 3 years, and she did a program for me relating to kids. So her modality that day is going to be on chakras and balancing chakras that way.
Okay.
So I think.
But she does art therapy?
Yes,
That's
and she has a studio. She has an open studio on the second Tuesdays of the month, and we all go there to do art. But,
I think you mentioned her too.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking forward to trying that out one day.
Right,
Yes.
but she also, there's 3 of them that work there, and she also does one-on-one practices, and like kids, things like that, like they're having trouble with trying to express themselves, but people expressing themselves, there's all kinds of arts, all kinds of art. You don't have to be a person who does art.
Yes.
But it is an outlet, and it can help you when you are suffering trauma, and how to, sometimes we look at moments to escape within here because you're so full of anxiety, to start aligning your brain with, there's things you can do for peace and calm. And that's so important if people can learn to do that, rather than maybe, I'm not against medications, but you may not need to get to that point.
Yeah.
Some of these things that you can use for yourself.
Yes, and I got to say something about that with regards to art. So I really didn't, or don't consider myself an artist, but when I was in Lynn School, Lynn V. Andrews, in the 4-year school that we were in, they often encouraged us to use a creative outlet that wasn't necessarily, like for me, I'm a writer, so it was just natural for me to write. But they encouraged that, try a different art form. And there was 1 year where there was a particular focus on art, where we would have this blank sheet and we would express what happened during that week through color and art. And I noticed, and in the beginning I thought, it just seems like it's not me, and I had too much, I think maybe, not a dependence on words, but it just seemed that was my only outlet. When I tried the art, I saw another aspect of me coming out and expressing itself in a different way. So like you said, you don't have to be an artist, and it's really a tool that sometimes when you tap into it, it's interesting what comes out. So who else do you have on there?
Well, I just want to add,
Oh,
it
sure.
builds creativity. So I start doing coloring. So when I start getting stuck on maybe writing or composing or making a curriculum, if I start coloring, it shifts your brain. So you go into more creative thinking. So then you sit down and you start typing and creating and adding new things that just start coming to you.
Yes.
It's another way of lining things up. I don't want to lose our time. So we have
time.
Dr. Rick Sorenby, and he is with Clear Choice Natural Healthcare, and he's going to bring to us kinesiology.
Okay.
So and the
What is
science,
that?
the kinesiology, I'm going to just read it to you. Kinesiology is the study of how muscles act and coordinate in the body. It's based on the science of energy balancing and combines a range of gentle but powerful techniques. Kinesiologists believe that each muscle group is related to another body parts, and they use a technique of muscle monitoring or biofeedback to investigate what might be causing imbalances in the body. So he works with you muscularly. So some of my own experience about that is taking, I know scientists would just not understand this, but that's okay because they don't understand energy healing either. So, and sometimes right now we're just learning about it. So there's a modality that if you have, let's say, a supplement in front of you, and it's 500 milligrams, let's say, of calcium, and then you are told to take 1,000, and you take that bottle and you put it in front of you with the 1,000 milligrams of calcium, and your body shifts, your body actually sways back away from it. That is the energy saying that's too much for you. You should not be taking that. And I have followed that practice. And there's many chiropractors that use that technique and finding out about particularly supplements for people's bodies, because you can't over supplement. Too much calcium leads us to hypercalcification that can lead to kidney stones, which is exactly what happened to me. So I didn't know about hypercalcification, but you can't take, I'm trying to deal with osteoporosis, which I no longer have, but that particular thought was not helpful to me. So I didn't know other components about calcium intake until I started studying. That's why I say it's so important. In order for calcium to be absorbed in your body, you also need 2 other ingredients. You need D3 and K2, but you can't take them all at once. You have to do it throughout the day. And at the end of the day, take magnesium, because that will help counter people getting hypercalcification or kidney stones. I didn't know all that.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's why it's important to learn
Yeah.
everything about it. So he is the doctor of one of my team on the wellness committee. So and she said he has helped her immensely. Things that her family doctor could not help her with, and he's cleared up a lot of her conditions and illnesses.
Huh.
So
That's going to be fascinating. That's something I really because some of the other ones. Well, everything that you've talked about so far is very interesting and fascinating. But the majority of which I have worked with, or with Reiki, I have my certificate in Reiki and the other areas. This one is a little bit more new, so I'm kind of excited to kind of learn about that. And so it sounds fascinating. And then who else you have?
well, we're at the. This is going to be very different. But I'm kind of excited about that. Is I'm going to maybe botch his last name. It's Matt Waltrabal,
Okay.
and he does music and song, and he's uniting people through music. Well, when we all think about how music has no boundaries, it brings people together, it brings community together, and that's one of the things that we have separated ourselves, because our own little homes, our big homes, our techs, and so this brings people together. And under the current conditions of our country, we're a little bit further apart. Well, everyone can center around music. Whether I can't sing worth a darn, but I can dance and I can sway and I can clap, and I love hearing people sing around me. It elevates our mood.
I gotta tell you this story. So there's this video that I saw once about these tribal people that have never been introduced to technology in any kind of way, and they showed them our world. They showed them different parts of our world, which they found kind of strange. For instance, they found it was strange that the elderly were placed in homes, not in their own home, and they just that they were very surprised about that. Just different aspects of our world that they just kind of found very strange. One thing that they didn't find strange and that they connected to, they showed them a video of Michael Jackson, and they showed them a video of, in separate times, and a video of a very famous old opera singer that has since passed away. I think it was Italian. And those were the 2 areas where they were able to connect to and feel the beauty of that they all were like on the same page. And these are people that have never been introduced to our world, and everything else they found kind of like, how our society, and then they just were like, just surprised by some of the things. But with the music, they appreciated Michael Jackson's music, and they appreciated an opera singer's music, something that they've never been introduced to. So what you're just saying right now, and I found that very fascinating when I saw their reactions to it.
Yeah, my daughter has brought into our home different cultural music that I had never listened to, and now I really enjoy it. And so she would every morning put something new on and introduce me to music from India and Middle East. And it's funny, I have a friend who was from India, and he said, I don't understand American bands. And now that I listen to the music that he was brought up, oh, I get it why you would not. I said, but I love rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah, and it could be like a preference, but at the end of the day, when there's a really good song, it's a good song. Or if there's really good music and it resonates with everybody, regardless of whether you know their language. So, yeah.
And so everyone's going to leave happy.
Yeah. Oh, so
he's at the end.
Okay,
yeah.
So the way that you kind of brought this together
No,
is
not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
No,
but
Brian, we're starting off with to stretch because I'm trying to get people to remember
You're
stretch in the
try
morning.
To get us, okay,
and,
so this is at
and sing a song at night.
This is at 9:30 in the morning. The nice thing is, you guys are serving a light breakfast and a light lunch, which I find pretty generous since it's only from 9:30 to 2 p.m. But again, you can find that out more. I put the link to the registration.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
So in conclusion, our goal is to bring these modalities from the world that are available to us, and you get to sit down. Each speaker will speak for about 7 minutes.
Okay.
And then we're going to do something. Everything is interactive. You're not just sitting listening.
Oh, so you do the exercises.
You're going to do the exercises right there. So you learn.
So you're going to make us work, Diane.
Yes, we're going to work.
Which, you know what? We all need to do that, believe me. Like, we all need to not be just kind of sometimes too much sitting down. I mean, technology and the modern lifestyle has really offered wonderful things, but we need to kind of keep connected with the physical aspect, the mental aspect, and to make sure that it's well-rounded and well-balanced. Because because of the fact that everything is given to us sometimes so easily, we have to really be conscious and aware of what we need to incorporate. Otherwise, that's, kind of we're falling off balance. That's a little bit what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's listening and doing.
Yes.
So whenever I do a program, if I come to do a presentation, everything is interactive.
Yeah.
So you are immersing yourself in the activity.
And that's how you learn.
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
So, you hear it, you see it, you do it.
That's right.
Right. And then you can go home and feel what it's like. So you can bring these things into your home. Or there's a friend or, that someone could benefit from that. Mm-hmm. So like in art, Erin works at Beaumont, and she works with people who are in chemotherapy and the kids, and she gets cards all the time on how much she helps people through that trauma of getting the chemotherapy and being there and being sick and not feeling well, and then she's there helping them along. Yeah. So it's all the expressions, and kids been given cards to write to the doctors or to their parents about how they are feeling. So getting in touch with our feelings is really important for us to be healthy.
Yes.
People don't understand that so much.
But they're really starting to.
They are starting to.
Things are shifting, and I think that's why this kind of program.
This is why we're doing this, right?
Can you just so real quick, because we're running out of time. There's just like a minute left. Just the address really quickly, so people can. So it's at UFCW Hall. Is that
right?
Okay, it's at 876. How do you say that, Horace Brown?
I think Horace Brown.
Horace Brown in Madison Heights,
right?
Which is 48071.
Right.
And again, it's Saturday, February 9th from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Right.
Save the date. It sounds very exciting. Again, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun.
We are. We had a lot of fun at your symposium.
Yes.
So it's about meeting, learning, and experiencing.
Yes.
So
you're really good with offering that. Thank you so much, Diane.
Thank you.
And I'm sure I'll have you on again for something. You're always having programs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.